Welcome back to another episode of
Tell Me Sis podcast with your two favorite sisters, Alex.
Oh, I don't know why I said
me?
your name.
Are you me?
I wish.
Oh, okay. Alex.
And Kyla.
Hello, welcome
Kyla.
back.
Kyla.
A lot of people liked when we were like, when you're ready, come and get it.
Na, na, na. So where do you see these comments? Because I go on the YouTube video.
Would you read our DMs ever?
On Tell Me Sis?
Yeah.
Every time I go on, there's no DMs. I guess
Because I also look through them. Okay. But we get comments on YouTube. We get comments on TikTok. Lol, to our last TikTok going viral.
And everyone hating us.
And then, well, it's not even, you were just repeating words of someone else. Like with the Selena Gomez thing. You were like, I saw this video of a girl saying this. Oh, and then you said what the girl said, and people were like hating, and they're like, these girls are so dumb. I'm like, she literally at the beginning of the video said, I saw a video where the girl said this.
It's because, It's
so
true. I forgot what the video was that we uploaded.
So it's kind of funny that people were like literally judging, like they're calling us dumb after being dumb.
Oh my God. It was also so funny because I didn't notice that the video went viral. And so my sister or like you messaged me and you were like, LOL to people going off on our TikTok video. So I go on it and I'm reading the comments and I'm like pissing my pants because everyone was getting so defensive.
I know.
And
proving
there was like,
our point.
I know. And so then my sister goes, you know, everyone's just proving our point. And I was like, yeah, like really proving our point. Like you need to go outside and touch grass.
Yeah, literally. Did you comment that?
No, but there was one person. There was only one person I replied to. I was dying of laughter because like they're basically like being condescending towards me. Like they left like some rude comment, but they called me, I think it was Kyle.
Oh, they meant Kylie, like Kylie Jenner.
Oh, okay. Because they wrote Kyle and I was like, who's Kyle? And they edit to Kylie and I was like, my name is Kyla.
Oh, maybe they did mean you. I don't know. I was honestly laughing really hard at the comments. I thought they were hysterical because with TikTok comments are unhinged. Yeah. Like it's really funny when a video goes viral, the comments that you'll get. Because I've had now like, I've had a lot of videos go over like millions of views and it gets pushed to all these random countries. And no one knows who you are. No. And it's so funny to me to read the comments. Like I literally piss my pants. It's one of the funniest things because it's not a personal attack to me because they don't know me. Yeah. So I'm like, I don't care. And it's just funny. And a friend of mine said like, who has a lot of followers on TikTok, she goes, I don't even read my TikTok comments because it's just people are crazy.
Yep. I mean, it just literally proved our point from that video.
I know. Well, in that specific one, we weren't saying that you need to go outside and touch grass. But in the podcast episode, we were saying you need to go outside and touch grass. Like,
yeah, we were basically just saying that people who like spend a lot of their time, like, it's one thing to just like
online.
Yeah. It's one thing to just be like invested in like the Hailey Selena drama that's going around right now. And like not comment, but then it's another thing to like go out of your way and like comment and then like make videos and like really get invested. And so at one point my sister was like, yeah, you just really need to go outside and touch grass if you're doing that because it's like you're just chronically online. You need to get a life. And so then the clip that we posted to our Tell Me Sis TikTok account went viral. And all these people were commenting like, girl, you're not even proving your point. Like, you're dumb. Or, oh, my God, girl thought she had it. Or stupid comments. And I was like, what?
People on TikTok are funny. Like one of my favorite things about that app is reading comments on videos that are on my For You page.
Oh my God.
Sometimes I'll watch a funny video and it's funny, but then reading the comments makes it 10 times funnier.
I know, but only when it's a funny video.
But
even sometimes when it's like just a video about anything and then like the people in the comment section are just
they're just like, funny. I'm like, wow.
They get so mad.
I know, but I'm like, so many people are comedians. I feel like I would never think of saying that, but it's so funny.
There's a video I saw recently Jaclyn Hill uploaded.
Okay.
And she was on a roller coaster. Oh, yeah. And when I tell you, the video starts off fine and then it just gets funnier and funnier, and then the last like 5 seconds I was pissing my pants
because her arms are like flailing from her body.
But then also like her eyes are rolling in the back of her head and then she's like trying not to throw up. And she like goes to like put her arm around her friend, but like practically knocks her out. And so I watch it again, and at the end when she's like trying not to throw up and her eyes are like rolling back, I kept pausing it and like pissing my pants. And so I was like, what are the comments? And someone wrote, girl, I paused the video like multiple times the last 5 seconds and it was not a letdown, and I was pissing. Oh my god, and like another person was like, she practically almost knocked her friend out because she goes to put her arm around her friend and she's like,
it's really, really funny. You showed it to me and I was dying of laughter. But yeah, I think TikTok is a fun app. I mean, here we are saying like you're chronically online as we're literally talking about social media and being on seriously. Social media, and it's our job and whatever. But I think there is a difference between using social media in a healthy way and then being on it way too much that you like forget how to be a real human being and like the outside world. Anyways, that's just my opinion, and like I always say, I'm gonna speak my mind and you don't have to agree with it. I could not care less. Like for me, it's kind of like you can agree with my opinion, you don't have to, and that's cool. It doesn't offend me if you don't agree with me. Like you're not going to change my mind, but that's just the way I think. Any updates for you, girl? It's been like a week. I didn't even get to see you this weekend. I've been so busy.
What's an update? I mean,
just busy with work, I guess.
Busy with work.
What do you have any updates on your like Europe trip in the summer?
So we almost have the entire thing booked. We know for sure now we're going to Greece. We're doing Milos and Paros. And then from Athens, we do like 1 day in Athens. We fly to Milan. And then from Milan, we're going to drive down to, we're going to rent a car.
Are you going to do Lake Como?
We're driving down to Lake Como.
It's up.
Or drive up to Lake Como.
Okay, so you're going to do that and then you're going to go down.
And then we're going to do, like, while we're staying in Lake Como, we're going to do a day in Lugano, like you recommended.
Yes. How long are you in Italy for? A week?
A week, yeah.
Okay.
Our trip is, like, divided in half. Mm-hmm. And then, so we're going to do a day in Lugano, but, like, we're not staying overnight. We just want to, like, go early in the morning.
That's what Dan and I did.
Leave in the evening.
Yeah,
and then
perfect.
At the end of our trip, we're going to do... we're probably going to get a Airbnb close to the airport, but then because we're still going to have the car at that point, we're going to drive into like the busy part of Milan, like the popular part, spend the day in Milan, and then drive back to our Airbnb at night and fly home.
Are you going to, oh wait, so you're only staying in Milan you're only in Italy for a few days? Wait, I'm confused.
No, we're in Italy for a week. We're in Lake Como for... Out of the week, it's like 6 days, and then we do 1 day in Milan, and then we go home.
Did you book a place in Lake Como yet?
Yeah.
You did? Okay. Yeah.
We did an Airbnb. At first, we were like, okay, what we're going to do is like budget more in Greece, and then we're going to splurge in Lake Como. But then when we were actually looking at the prices of hotels, like the ones that we were like... I was like, okay, we obviously know we're not going to stay at like the nicest hotel. It's going to be crazy expensive. But I was like, if we do a hotel that's like not necessarily the nicest, but at least we have a really nice balcony view, it's fine. But like even those hotels were like, one was like 4,000 euros a night.
Okay.
So then we're like, okay, you know what? We're just going to do an Airbnb. Realistically, we're not going to be at our Airbnb or our hotel, you know?
Yeah.
We're going to be out and about all day.
Lake Como, do you know where you're staying?
It's a 10-minute walk from Bellagio.
Okay. I was going to say, there isn't much to do in Lake Como, like other than Como, the town of Como, which you'll need a car for, but you'll have one, and Bellagio. But there's like boat tours that I highly recommend you take.
So that's something that we want to do.
I'll send you the one that we did.
Okay,
the same company.
Thank you. Did you collab with them?
No.
Okay.
Maybe they do collabs. I don't know. I did. Tess took it when we were in Lake Como the first year that we were all there, and she was like, recommend it. Like she booked it day of, like just paid for it. And then so when Dan and I went back for our honeymoon, we used the same company and rented a boat. There's different prices for the different boats and the different tours that you get. So you can do
so we're looking at just an hour.
I don't know what they offer.
It was doable.
What?
For an hour, like the price was reasonable.
Oh, you looked at them already? Prices.
We looked at like prices, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so I really highly recommend doing that, and then doing a day in Lugano, like I said. If you can one day drive into Verona, it's kind of far. It'll be like a 2-hour trip for you guys, but like Verona is, or Altissimo, which is like where our family's from. I could text you these, like a list.
Okay, wait. Let me message you. Text me a list for like.
Because when I don't remember exactly. It might be too far. I don't know. But there's like certain things in the north of Italy that are just so beautiful. And if like you find yourselves getting bored of Lake Como, I mean, 6 days is kind of long to be there because there isn't like a crazy amount to do. Unless you just want to like lay on the beach or like lay at the lake. Then that's different, obviously. But if you want like a full day of like, you can drive into a nice town. Verona is known as like the city of love. So it's like where Romeo and Juliet was like. They have like the Romeo and Juliet balcony. There's like the love letters and it's all very beautiful. I had the best pasta of my entire life there. Homemade noodles. Oh my God, it was unreal. And yeah, it was like a random stop, like place that we stopped in. I mean, it's not random. Verona is a very nice city, but we weren't planning on going there. We just stopped there on the way back from Altissimo.
Okay.
And we were obsessed with it.
So Altissimo is where Nono's from, right?
Originally, yeah, before the war.
Okay.
It's a super small town.
And then he went to Naples.
No, he went to Sabaudia.
Oh, Sabaudia after the war.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
But yeah, definitely will send you a list.
It's just like, it's crazy because I'm obviously very excited about it, but because I'm only going in a few months, I'm excited when I think about it, but like I'm not.
It's not real yet.
It's not real yet. It hasn't sunk in, and like the friend that I'm going with is like doing so much research, messaging me about it every single day, and I feel so bad because like
you're so booked and busy right now. Like I'm surprised you even have time for this. Like you're so busy, which is a good thing.
It's a good thing, but like I just feel bad because I'm like, I want to share this excitement with her. And like, I mean, she knows. She literally sent me a TikTok video. We were dying of laughter where it's like that one friend that's like doing all the research and booking everything. And then the other friend that's like, send me your Venmo, you know?
I mean, listen, in like 2 months, you're going to really start to feel excited.
But that's always how I am. It's like, I will get really excited thinking about it, but it doesn't feel real until it's like a month before.
Yeah, I mean, I'm leaving for Europe in a week. Literally a week from today.
See, like, that's exciting.
Yeah.
It's like,
but now I'm like stressed. I'm like, oh my God, do I have enough stuff? Yes, we're going to Portugal. We're doing.
Who's going?
It's Dan, me, Tess, and Pat.
Oh my God,
no
fun.
Kids. Just the 4 of us.
You're going for how long?
We're going for a week. We were originally going to extend. Okay, so we're going for like 8 days, technically. We were originally going to extend for 10 days. But then Dan was like, listen, like, in our group chat, he was like, guys, I'm just going to be honest. Like, last year, Alex and I were gone for 10 days. It was really long to be away from Arkham. And, like, he really missed us. And it was long for us, too. And I feel like we're going to have so much more time than you guys think. Like, the fact that we don't have a kid with us. Like, even I was talking to Tess. I'm like, we're not going to have to think about naps or, like, feeding kids or anything. You forget how much time you have in the day.
It's also long for mom and dad.
Yes.
Because as much as they obviously love being with Arky, it's exhausting.
Yes, it is. And so he was like very honest about it. He was like, I don't think we should extend because our plan is to do Lisbon and Porto, which is the north of Portugal. And then people are like, no, you need to go to Lagos. Like, Lagos is so beautiful. It's beach town. It's so beautiful, blah, blah, blah. So then me and Tess were like, okay, let's extend and do Lagos. And then Dan was like, I don't know. And then Tess was like, realistically, we're going at the beginning of April, like end of March. Lagos isn't going to be super hot. Maybe we should go back during a nicer month in the future with our kids.
Yeah.
And do like beach.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's a smart idea because
Arky in Portugal. Are you kidding me?
And he loves Theo. They're so cute together.
That's so cute.
But they what was I going to say just now? Anyways, I had a brain fart. Oh yeah. It's so cheap in Portugal. Like, inexpensive.
Really?
Yeah, like we were looking at costs for everything, like restaurants and like hotel, not even not hotels, but like even places to stay, because we booked through Airbnb. And then also trains, like the train from Lisbon to Porto is like $6. Like, it's so cheap. The only expensive part of the trip is the flight getting there, which was also it wasn't free for us, but because we were supposed to go to Italy last year, we had booked all those flights and everything, and then we couldn't get the flights reimbursed because by the time we canceled the trip, it was like too last minute. So they gave us a credit plus a bunch of points. Oh. So we used that credit from last year to book the flights this year, and then we have a bunch of points now.
Okay.
So I was like, technically, like, okay, yeah, they're not free flights. We still paid for them, but they're for the trip that we were supposed to go on last year.
Yeah.
So I'm like, it's sweet. It's like it was already paid for. Now it's just like credit. So yeah, it worked out in the end. I'm like so excited. So we're going in a week.
I'm going to be living vicariously through you.
Oh my god.
That's going to be so nice. Have you ever been to Portugal?
I've never been. It's always been so high on my list. I've always wanted to go.
Oh my god.
The only thing I'm nervous about is food, which a lot of people say it's like hit or miss with the food. It's okay, here's the thing. So Portuguese chicken here is not like, it's not there.
Really?
I think it's a North American thing because a bunch of my friends that went said like, yeah, that's not a thing when we were there. They have good food. She's like, I had really good Indian food actually, like randomly enough, but a lot of people told me it's hit or miss depending on the restaurants. Some places are known for their seafood. Some are known for like other things. So that is like the one thing. It's not like where you go to Italy where it's like, you know,
you're going to get good pasta, pizza, seafood.
Yeah. Like, well, I'm sure the seafood is great in Portugal as well because it's on the coast, but like it's not like France where like, you know what French food is, or Italy, or, you know, or Greek, you know what like that food is. I don't know what Portugal food is. I thought it was Portuguese chicken. Like, you go to Portuguese chicken restaurants here.
Yeah.
Like supposedly that's just not like a thing there. I don't know. I could be completely wrong. If you're from Portugal, let me know what food is good, what restaurants we should go to in Lisbon and in Porto. I've heard really good things about the wine, so I'm very excited.
I mean, oh my god, that's like the best part of traveling.
Yeah, I'm just
having wine.
I just telling Dan, it's gonna be so fun to actually like get there and get set up, and like the first day that we get there, we're gonna be like so exhausted and excited. We have kind of a long travel day because there's no such thing as direct flights with Air Canada. You have to do air transit, but air transit you can only fly certain days of the week. And our credit was with Air Canada. Oh. So we're flying into another place, I think in Switzerland. And then from Switzerland, we're flying to Portugal. So we're actually going past, which is kind of annoying. But Dan made a good point. He's like, it's an overnight flight. And the fact that it's longer is nicer. It gives us more time to sleep. Yeah, so sorry for all the rambling, you guys. I know it's very typical with us. But today's episode is about our inner monologue and how that creeps into our everyday life, how it affects us in so many ways, and how we can actively work on it to change it to make it better for us for a better future.
Yeah, because I really struggle with a negative inner monologue, like very, very negative, very hard on myself, way too hard on myself. And it's only in like the more recent years that I've really realized how bad it is. Because now I'm aware of it.
I think also...
And I'm also trying to shift. I'm in like this transitional period where I'm really trying to shift being more positive and having a better perception on things.
Right.
And I've always been pretty open-minded, but just being more not open-minded with myself, that makes no sense, but less accepting of myself and patient.
Yes.
And just not as hard. Like, for example, something happened the other day that was not even a big deal. Like, when I say it was not a big deal, it was not a big deal. But for some reason, like, in my mind, I was like, oh my God, these people for sure think I'm so dumb. They think I'm stupid. I'm like, it's so incompetent. Like, they're for sure judging me, thinking I'm so incompetent. But then I also, at the same time of having these thoughts, and this is, I guess, like the progress that I've made, I was like, Kyla, it's not as deep as you think it is, and I'm sure no one's thinking twice about it. No one cares as much as you think they do. Everyone's too focused on themselves.
I know. See, this is what's hard, is because we're so self-critical, and I think you're a bit of a perfectionist too.
I am.
And so it's tough because this is going to sound bad, and I'm not meaning this in a bad way, but a lot throughout your life, you've heard Kyla's dumb. A lot by a lot of people, and you're not dumb at all in any way, but you've heard that a lot from an early age.
Yep.
And so I think there's like a little bit of trauma when it comes to like you feeling dumb, because you don't want to feel that way because you've heard that a lot.
Yep.
And also you have a bit of trauma with like other situations in your past that have been like, let's say so-and-so, I'm not going to give examples because I don't know, whatever, but like, let's say so-and-so did this to you, or this happened in a work environment or in any other kind of situation where it really like upset you and like hurt you and like brought down your self-confidence a lot. And now you're in like a different environment, and that like old like you almost don't have the confidence in you to be like, no, like I know what I'm doing, I'm good at this, I'm okay. Because
so that's
of the
actually
past.
starting to come back to me now.
Okay, good.
So because I'm no longer in that like toxic environment, I'm like, my confidence is starting to come back. I'm starting to trust myself again. I'm so much more motivated. It's like I'm seeing things in a more positive way. Like my perception on everything is a lot more positive than it was. Mm-hmm. And I'm starting to feel like myself again. It takes time. It's like I have to be patient with myself, but it's just crazy. Like what being around people or a person that could be very, very toxic, what it could do to you, mm-hmm. and the toll it takes on you. And I have PTSD. Like,
I know.
Bad. I'm already, to begin with, I'm not someone who's always had like the highest self-esteem. For me, it just kind of comes and goes in waves. But so it's a little bit of a combination of that, and like being very sensitive, and then PTSD as well. Yeah. Like big time.
Also, I want to say too, if you hear any buzzing in the background, Kyla's fan is on and we can't turn it off. You probably can't hear it, but just in case, I just realized it now. I had tuned it out before. I'm glad to hear though that you're feeling better though. Like I'm glad to hear that you are starting to get out of that. Although I don't think it's linear. It's going to come in waves. Yeah, exactly. Like some days I'm totally fine, and then other days I just feel like everything that's happening is just kind of like it's a snowball effect, and I just feel like I'm going to like cry. Yeah. But I'm also able to recognize when I get in those that like mind space, and like just I'm able to kind of like talk myself out of it and think more logically. Good. I mean, you've been whereas even before saying it was like I was just stuck in this chronic headspace of like self-doubt, misery. Like I was in such like, I don't want to say I was in such a bad place because I don't want to sound so dramatic, but yeah, I was just in a bad headspace. I was just in a toxic situation that did not serve me in any way, shape, or form. And I'm no longer in a toxic environment like that. So it's such a breath of fresh air, I swear to God. Like one little thing though will happen now, and like in my mind I'm like, oh my God, like you're scared. What's this person gonna say? What are they gonna think of me? Yeah. How am I gonna get out of it? And then like every single time it's fine. Yeah. And it's just built up in my mind. But I could see you like the panic that goes on with you, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I have to change my inner monologue. Yeah. I have to do it. Yeah, like I literally messaged you the other day and I was like, I have to change my inner monologue. And you were like, why? What happened? So I explained to you the situation. You're like, yeah, Kyla, that's like really not a big deal. You're just way too hard on yourself. Yeah, because like not to invalidate you, because obviously the feelings are valid, but like the situation itself, like I wouldn't have, like if I was in that situation, I wouldn't have thought twice of it being anything other than normal. Yeah, I guess it also goes back to me having like trauma from like just hearing, oh, Kyla's dumb. Dumb. Because like it's literally true. Things stem from our childhood, and a lot of what we say to ourselves sometimes echo things and insecurities that we've heard throughout our life growing up. So for you, the whole thing of like, I'm not good enough, I'm stupid, they're going to think I'm stupid, they're going to think I'm incompetent. It's all things that you've heard in the past multiple times from really not nice people that probably didn't even mean it, just trying to hurt you, you know? Yeah. So it's just things like that I think like it's going to take time to work through it, but I think every single person, as long as you're aware of it, can work through it. And it's the same thing with how you perceive yourself, not just emotionally, but physically, spiritually. Like that's why people say to literally look at yourself in the mirror and tell yourself you're beautiful, even if you don't believe it. Every morning I wake up and like I always try to make the conscious effort, like I'm the luckiest girl in the world. We're the luckiest girls alive. Oh yeah, luckiest girl alive syndrome. Also, I saw this trend like maybe it was a year ago where was it Selena Gomez? Someone had put a photo of themselves as a child on their bathroom mirror, and every time they looked at themselves.
Kendall Jenner, I think, spoke about it.
Like her therapist had said to do that, and I don't do that, but I do sometimes look at photos of myself from around when I was a kid, and know that when I'm talking badly about myself, I'm talking badly about her.
Yeah.
And then it makes me feel sad. So I'm like, not sad, but I'm like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I need to change the way I see things.
I know. Oh my God, I had like a weird emotional moment not long ago where I was looking at a picture of myself as a kid, and for some reason, like, I was just having this like really strong feeling overcome me. And it was like the feeling of when I was a kid, like before you've been through any trauma, anything difficult, it's like that innocence and that just pure happiness of who you are before life kind of hits you. And I got so emotional, I almost started crying. Aww. It was like, whoa, I don't know, it was just such a weird feeling. And I was like, that's who you really are, is like when you're a kid, before you've experienced all like these,
before
like,
I sprayed Windex in your mouth.
Before you've like experienced any of these obstacles, it's like that's really who you are to your core.
Yeah. Like, you think it's almost weird that people, if you look really deep down inside of yourself, sometimes it's kind of scary.
Yeah.
Like the deepest, darkest secrets, or like what you feel or who you are. A lot of times people not necessarily put on a front, but try to conform to society in a lot of ways, and then what their interests are, who they are really deep down, isn't 100% shown all the time.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's making any sense.
Because you care what people will think of you.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Or even like, you know, when I gave birth, and I was very open about like how much I loved my body growing and giving birth and postpartum and everything, and like I saw it in a whole different way. And I was very open about sharing that part of me, which a lot of people were like, wow, it's actually getting me excited to like be a mom or to experience this, because I always only heard negative things like, oh, I can't wait to bounce back or blah, blah, blah. And people ask me now, like, how do you feel about your body now that you're like struggling with infertility? And I'm like, I still do appreciate everything my body does for me and has done for me throughout my life. It's just more now I'm kind of like, I'm just mourning.
Yeah.
You know, which is, it doesn't take away the love I feel for myself. There's a part of me that is like angry at my body, but I know that like it's doing everything it can to keep me alive.
Yeah.
Literally, your body does everything to keep you alive. And for that, I'm so grateful. Like, I was able to have a baby, like everything that I've ever wished for, like it did. So yeah. It's a game of tug and war, which a lot of people struggle with. I get it. It's like even the people that you look at online that you think have the most like perfect bodies or have the most perfect life, they struggle.
Yeah.
You
Everyone has their shit that they're going through, and you know, you could be quote unquote the hottest person in the world, the best looking person in the world. Even that person is going to look at themselves in the mirror and find every little flaw about them physically, their personality. It affects the way they feel about themselves. They're not seeing themselves the same way you are. It's like everyone has their struggles, and yeah, I think the biggest gift you can like give yourself is just appreciating yourself, loving yourself more, not being so hard on yourself, and being patient too with yourself. Obviously easier said than done. I was going to say, it's obviously easier said than done. Like, we always say that. Like, sometimes I'll be giving advice and I'm like, I should take this advice for myself. But at least that's what really worked for me, was to stop being so negative. And even to this day, like, Dan will call me out. He's like, Alex, you're so negative right now. And I'm like, really? I didn't even think I was being negative. And for like the smallest things that I don't even realize. For example, we drove over an hour to go pick up a bike that Dan bought off Marketplace for an amazing price. Okay. It was a great bike, but he bought a bike last summer also for a good price. That was supposed to be an amazing bike. So I'm like, why are we buying another one? He's like, because the other one,
I'm too long for it. And I was like, oh, you didn't notice that? He's like, no, I only really noticed it like once I started riding it. So when we went to pick up the bike, whenever it was, yesterday, the day before, I'm like, well, are you going to test it out? He's like, no, it's fine. It's perfect. I measured myself. I measured it. Like, it's all good. I'm like, well, don't you want to at least like drive it around to make sure it's good? He's like, no, the guy he bought it brand new. And like, this guy was like very, very rich. He like biked once with his wife on the street and was nervous with all the cars and said like, no, I'm not down for this because the bike was too fast and he's not a cyclist. So he just wanted to sell it. And Dan's like, he's giving me all this stuff for like such a great price. I'm like, this seems like a scam. I'm like, Dan, oh my God, you should just test it out. Like whatever. And he's like, Alex, you're so negative. I'm like, no, I'm like wanting to make sure.
It's always the people who are thinking in a negative way that are like, no, I'm just being realistic.
Yeah, I know. But he's like, Alex, like, it's fine. Yeah. Like, I know last time when I bought a bike last year, I didn't look into things. Yeah. I'm not doing that this year. He's like, but I shouldn't even have to like tell you that. You're just, everything that is like, you're just so negative, like picking apart everything. And I was like, I guess you're kind of right. I was like internally still like, no, I'm being realistic. But anyways, turns out the bike is perfect for him. He brought it into the shop to get it tuned and everything. And they're like, this is an amazing bike for like, wow, this is a steal. So I was like, okay, I guess Dan's right, whatever. But it's like things like that are not even about myself, just in general in life. I'm like thinking about the negative. Well, what if this happens, or what if that happens? Prepare for the worst.
You had messaged me too. It was a few weeks ago, and you were like, wow, no wonder my inner monologue was so negative. We won't say what it's about, but like you had brought it up to me, and I was like, yeah, you gotta change that.
Yeah, it's
Meanwhile, I also have a negative inner monologue.
I know. Well, a lot of people do. And then there's people that just don't. Like Dan is just, I mean, he's realistic in ways that matter, but he's always glass half full in so many situations. Like even when we're struggling with things, whether that be like infertility, financially, or even when we were trying to buy a house, like all these things that I was so stressed about, like we're not, oh my God, mom is going to sell. We're not going to have a place to live. We're going to have to move in with mom and dad. Like we have a baby. I was like literally spiraling. He's like, it's going to work out. And then it pissed me off that he said that, because I'm like, you're being so annoyingly positive. Like just be stressed with me. And he's like, I'm not stressed though. And like, I think that's so negative to think that way. Yeah. And like looking back now, I'm like, I was being so negative.
You're just not going to be happy. You have to like.
But also, Kyla, I was stressing about something that didn't even happen. Yeah. Or like it's stressing about the future that's not even guaranteed.
That's anxiety.
Yeah. And so it's like, it didn't even end up happening. And Dan's like, listen, if that happens, we'll deal with it. But that's not happening now. So why am I going to waste negative energy on that when it's not even a reality? Yeah. And I was like, oh.
It's because he's not an anxious person.
I know. He has like, okay, yeah, when Archie, let's say, broke his leg, or like there's certain things that like make him scared or anxious, but
like there are things that makes it makes sense why it would make you anxious. Yeah. Whereas like when you're just an anxious person by nature, you'll be anxious over absolutely nothing. Yeah. It's just like a waste of energy. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I catch myself all the time. Sometimes I'm like, why am I so anxious? Oh my God. And then I realized like, oh, I'm stressing about this thing that's happening in a few days. And I'm stressing about it because I'm thinking of the worst case scenario and it hasn't even happened. Yeah. And I'm already thinking about everything that could go wrong.
It's like, am I the issue? Am I the problem?
Oh my God. Yeah.
We are the problem.
Everything always is fine at the end of the day.
It always ends up being fine. And that's what's so funny is that I watched so many videos where people are like, it will work out for you. This is your journey. Like everything will work out for you as long as like you are like working hard and whatever, just like things in life. Obviously, if you're going to like sit in your home and do nothing and like not work and not do anything for the rest of your life, obviously things are not going to work out for you. But you know what I mean? Yeah. It's like if you're doing good things in your life, it's going to come back to you. And for some reason, my brain does not believe that. And it takes a lot of work for me to rewrite that in my brain for me to believe that.
You have to unlearn certain behaviors.
And comparison doesn't help either. Comparison is literally, like everyone says, the root of all evil, because it will strip your joy and happiness away from you, because you'll constantly be being like, well, I'm not doing like what this person's doing, or I'm not at this stage like this person is, or I want this and that person has it and I don't. And it's like,
just live in the moment, be happy with everything that you have.
But like there's things that you have that maybe other people want.
Well, it's crazy. I remember when I was still living at home with mom and dad, and I was like, I'll just be so happy when I have my own place. Like that's when I'm gonna be happy.
Yeah,
I've had my own place now for a while.
Yeah.
And there's still things that like I'm unhappy about.
Yeah.
But like I realize that.
Yeah. But that's why.
And there's only one thing in my life that I don't have. And I was talking to dad about this the other day. I was like, it's crazy how there's just one thing in my life that I don't have, that I don't even necessarily know if I want at this point in my life. And like that's the one thing that I tend to like think about more than everything that I do have. Yeah. Because I actually have an incredible life. I'm very grateful. I'm very like blessed in this life, you know?
Yes.
But then I think about the one thing, and then I'm like, what the fuck? Like, and also I don't even know if I necessarily want that to happen at this point in my life.
I know. It's just, this is what's so hard, is because we think that we're on this timeline that we have to follow.
Yeah.
And then we see other people following that timeline and we're like, oh, I kind of want that. But it's like, but do I actually want that? Or is that what like society is telling me I want?
No, it's purely what society is telling me that I want.
Yeah. I mean, there's also other factors too that play into it. Like,
but the main thing really is like society. Because like I was even talking about this with one of my girlfriends. She's the girl I'm going to Europe with. We're both single and like in our early 30s. And I was like, it's crazy. Like she sent me a conversation recently that she was having with like a friend of hers who's a mom, and she's like, wow, it's so crazy how like, without giving too much away, like I don't want to say anything, but anyways, it was just one of her friends is a mom and like she's our age probably, and she was just talking to her, and she sent me a screenshot, and she was like, when you're single and in your 30s and just like forget that like some of your friends are moms, ha 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 ha. And I'm like, wow, it's crazy. And she's like, it's just crazy too, because like I'm just so happy with my life right now, and I'm so happy with the fact that I'm not a mom at this point in my life. And I was like, yeah, it's true. Like we have to also remind ourselves that, is this something that we're even ready for? Because we both have the same issue where we're both on this dating app and we just say no to every guy.
Why?
Because we're just, for whatever reason, we just like, it's just always no. And then the select few that we say yes to, by the time they message us, like sometimes we just don't even answer, because it's like, we don't really care that much at the end of the day. Like we're not desperate to be in a relationship, and we're also very, very, very picky.
And you're both so busy.
We're both well, I'm very, very busy. But so is she. But it's also like, we're just the type of people that appreciate the freedom we have now, and we see like the bigger picture of everything. It's like, yeah, we're in our 30s, and like to people in their 20s or people our age, like, you know, you might think that your early 30s is old, but really in the grand scheme of things, your 30s is very young, and we never in a million years want to settle.
No, good.
Ever.
Good.
But that's us having like a more positive inner monologue and like being patient with ourselves. And
one thing I did also want to bring up, because this kind of goes hand in hand with the inner monologue, I guess, a little bit, was I had a session with a spiritualist. I guess that's what it's called, right? Her name is Bibi. If you want, I
have an appointment with her.
Oh, you did
Friday.
Oh my god, I'm excited. Yeah. We can even do like an update on next week's episode or something. Yeah. But we had a session, and I was very hesitant. I mean, we've spoke about this on the podcast, how I'm like very skeptical about things like this, right? And I also was like, I don't want to hear negative stuff. Like, it's just, I was like not down, because even if I like don't fully believe it, I'm like, I just don't want to hear anything negative. But my friend had gone to see her and had a really great experience. So I was like, you know what? I'm very interested. I'm very curious. It's virtual, so I'm going to message her. I'll link her in the description if you're curious to check her out on Instagram. You can book sessions with her, and it's virtual. But I made a session. We had our session. I cried during it because honestly felt like a therapy session.
Yeah.
And then I tried to make like a Instagram video or like stories to talk about what we spoke about, and I kept crying every single time I like spoke about it because I was so emotional. So I'm like, I'm just gonna give it time, and then I'll make a YouTube video explaining in detail like what we spoke about. And I'm probably gonna do that for like next week or something, and after your session I'm sure we could talk about it too. But she basically told me that she doesn't ever say anything negative because that's not the way that she believes in things. She doesn't think it serves a purpose. And she said literally when we were about to start, she was like, she wrote down a few notes before, and she was like, I could tell you're nervous. Like, I could really tell you're nervous. She weirdly knew, like, she felt my nonna who passed a long time ago. She felt my aunt, and she said that had something to do with like her head. And she felt Papa, and she said he passed from cancer. Like, she knew things that like I hadn't told anyone, even things to do with like going to visit my aunt's grave. Like, she just knew specific details that I literally had not told people.
Yeah.
So that was really weird to me. And it's funny because if I talk about it with mom, she's like, oh, it's just a coincidence, or like, you know, she's like, oh, I don't want to rain on your parade type thing. But I'm like, I don't know, how could somebody know these things?
So that's like, what I've been saying. That's like my whole experience with the psychic. You're like, well, how didn't she predict COVID? And I was like, well, she's not going to tell me that there's a huge pandemic coming up.
Well, she told you something else negative.
Yeah, but that was the first ever thing she said to me. This was like in 2018 or something when I went to see her. And after, like, as soon as she told me that, I was like, I don't want to hear anything negative. Like,
okay.
No.
I don't know.
But like, she told me a lot of very specific things, and a lot of things that she had told me ended up coming true.
Well, I don't know if this girl's a psychic, or I don't know exactly the details. I'm sure I can ask her to get a better sense, but I'm going to do a whole YouTube video about this. But essentially the reason why I'm bringing this up is because a lot of the stuff she was talking about were like just about my inner monologue being so hesitant and negative and like scared and stressed and anxiety. And it was like one of those things that she was like, you are taken care of. Like, your nonna, whoever it is that's literally watching over you, they know you're going to be okay.
Yeah.
Things are going to be okay for you. She had like specific timelines in my life that she's like, this is going to be like a challenging thing. This is going to be amazing. Like, I don't know. It brought me a sense of peace.
Yeah.
Knowing that. And I was like, although I wasn't raised religious, I almost always wished I had that to have something to believe in, because I always was like so anxious, and I was like, oh, if I only believed in like God, if I only believed in this, then like I would feel better. And like Dan, for example, is like, well, why don't you just change your inner monologue to be positive instead of always looking for something to believe in?
Yeah.
But then this girl is like, listen, I think whatever you believe in that's going to bring you peace, whether that is God or the universe or your higher self or whatever it is, that is such a great thing for yourself.
Yeah.
Whatever is bringing you peace in whatever way it is, whatever shape or form, like that is what's important for you.
Yeah.
And I don't know, that really resonated with me a lot. I had good vibes from her. She's so nice. I'll put her in the show notes if you guys want to check her out. But like I said, I'm going to do a whole YouTube video about it. And then after your session, I would love to like next week's. Okay, so we're batching 2 episodes today. So like not the following week, but the one after that. Yeah. We'll definitely have.
We'll do.
Maybe we can even have her on as a guest.
Oh yeah, I would love that.
And I can like talk all about it.
I would love that.
And have people ask her questions and stuff.
Did she tell you anything that was like very, like something that was a little bit eye-opening?
Eye-opening?
Yeah.
She said there is another spirit baby like close to me that's like ready. Not like that I'm going to be pregnant right this second, but it's very, very close. So that kind of brought me
gave
some
you peace of mind too.
Yeah, that was kind of like nice.
What did she tell you about me again?
She said Elena needed to tell you things. She had messages from Elena for you, but I said I'll just let her.
Okay, yeah.
So you can ask her,
because you had told me briefly what. Because
I kind of forget the exact things that she had said, so I was like, I'm gonna let you speak to her.
Yeah.
And you can tell her like Alex told me this. And
yeah. I'm so freaking excited for that. You have no idea.
Yeah. So it was really nice. It was a nice session. I literally cried and I was like, I'm sorry for crying. She's like, no, it's okay. It's very normal. She's really, really sweet.
I'm so curious to know what Elena is trying to tell me.
Yeah. And she said Papa, like, as much as he's with our family and like loves our family so much, like he's really with Mama, like holding her hand constantly. And like I said, like, thank you for saying goodnight to me every single night. Like certain things that, how the heck would she know that?
Yeah.
How would she know that? You know?
My God, that's crazy.
How did she know
that? It makes me want to cry thinking about it.
Yeah. I don't know. It was really interesting. So, I guess what time is it? Okay, it's been like 45 minutes. So we're gonna end the episode here. And what we're gonna do, since we're batching 2 episodes today, is we're gonna do a part 2 of the advice column that we had on our Instagram. And if this is something that you want to hear more of, let us know, because we're always here for advice. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram at tellmesispodcast and rate us 5 stars on Spotify and Apple Podcasts if you're feeling nice. And we love you, and we'll talk to you guys all next week.
Bye.
Bye.